Hey everyone, it's Kai from Cool Collectibles back again for another review. This time it's the Luke DeVreaux and Andrew Scott Universal Soldiers by Damn Toys and Blitzway. For a place to get all your collectibles, click the link in the description below to head on over to Big Bad Toy Store. They ship worldwide, so definitely check them out. Alright, so if you watched the previous video on the channel, you will see the way I fix the shoulder issues that I found on my figures. Other collectors have had similar issues and some have not. But if you are having trouble folding the arms down by the sides of their body, check out my video previously that shows you how to sort of undress them and fix up that shoulder joint. So normally about this time in the review I would be going through the art box, and this is one of the issues I have with the box. It's not a major deal since I don't really collect the boxes and so on, but I was expecting the boxes to be the art boxes. But as you can see here, it looks like the Big Bad Toy Store stock, and I'm not sure if it's across all the US retailers. We got the standard, just a generic black box with the usual slipcover. The response from Big Bad Toy Store was they've been told that this is the official design, which I think is bullshit, because I've seen pictures of the proper red and blue boxes from people who have ordered directly from Damn Toys, so I'm not sure what the hell Damn Toys have done, but for these ones that have the generic black box, the decals on the figures also come in a little baggie and are not applied. In fact, the decals that you can see on the chest there for Luke DeVreaux here, were actually, you could actually tell that they peeled them off the original chest armor, because I could see some glue residue, and the ones in the baggie were brand new alternate stickers that you had to peel the backing off and apply again. So why they had to put them in a baggie and put them in a generic box, I don't know. So I guess some of the suggestions were they've run out of effort in the factory and all they did was instead of manufacturing more boxes, they just put them in black generic boxes and didn't bother hiring anyone in the factory to apply the decals. Luckily the decals were fairly easy to put on, and they stick fairly well, so I didn't have too much of an issue there. But just a bit confusing about why Damn Toys went down that path. I did post something on their Facebook page, but as usual, similar to Hot Toys, they never respond to any questions or anything like that on their Facebook page. So we might never find out exactly what happened, but I guess that's a point to note if you're getting this figure from US retailers. But as you can see, I've fixed everything up and pretty much everything is back in order and applied to the figure in terms of the armor and so on. So I'll go through the accessories now. I mean, both figures come with pretty much the same accessories except for their main weapon. So first up, I'll get the guys out the way and give you guys a close look at the accessories. Hold on. Alright, first up, they only come with 3 hands in total each, so there's only one swap out hand. So this one here, I guess, is the holding the butt of the end of the gun. So I've swapped those out, so unfortunately there's no sort of closed fist or anything like that, but I guess in the end that's probably not too big a deal. The molding and paint detail is pretty good, so you can see the sort of gloved effect there, which is quite nice. So a fairly good job there, and they all include the joint, which is pretty easy to push in and out. It's not too loose or anything like that on mine, so I do like that they've included the joints in there. The next accessory is the headset, which is fairly nicely done, but it is a little bit tricky to get on and to get it to look right. Now I guess this metal, I think it's metal, this the sort of bar across the top here is pretty flexible. You can sort of bend it to get it in place a little bit better. I'll try and show you guys that after I go through the figure itself, because once you place it over the head, sometimes it sort of splays out a little bit, and it just doesn't angle right across the eye. So the eyepiece here is on a little hinge, so you can sort of move it back and forth and place it over their eye. The camera at the front here is nicely done, and this mouthpiece is just on a little thin wire, so you can sort of bend it and move it out of the way and so on. So that's a nice touch. So overall, it fits over the ear here fairly well, but it's how you can sort of place this side flat against the head, or if you've placed this side flat against the head, how you get this earpiece flat against the head and not sort of splaying out, because once it splays out, the eyepiece is then at an angle and it just doesn't look right. So I'll give you guys an example of that a little bit later once I try to put it on. But overall, the detailing and so on in the headset is pretty nice. They both come with the pistol. Now I'm not too much of a gun person. I think there is an official or a proper name for these weapons, as they all seem to be real life weapons. There is some sort of engraving that I'm not sure if you can pick up on the viewfinder there. So I think that says something about it being an Israeli weapon. Or is it on this side? So something about it, I think it's a Desert Eagle or something like that. So nicely done details there with just that sort of engraving. This silencer piece you can pull off, so it just pulls off like so, and you can put this into one of the holsters on their around their thighs, and I'll show you guys that in a second. This does have some moving parts. I think you can move it back and forth. I think I tried it before and almost broke the damn thing, so I'm not going to try. It could be on the other pistol actually, but either way, fairly nicely done with the pistol here. The other weapon that they also have is a smaller pistol, and again I'm not sure what the official name of this is, but again this goes into the holster that's under their left arm. So again, a nice bit of detailing there on the weapon, and they all come with their sort of spare magazines, and you can sort of see the bullets showing there. So that's all nicely detailed. So you get actually 4 of these in if you get both figures. So you get 4 of those, and for the other pistol you get the other magazine as well. And you'll see that it's got the silver or a different style bullet. So and apparently I've tried to put them all into their holsters and so on, so there's pretty much a slot for every one of these accessories, so you can sort of fully deck them out for battle. They also come with this, I think it's a life monitor or health monitor or something like that. That goes around their left wrist. I'm not sure which way is facing up, to be honest. It could be that way up. So you just take off the fist and wrap that around. They also get a police baton each that you can then slot into the left holster on their thigh. So that's nicely detailed there. It's just plastic, so it's not metal or anything. Andrew Scott comes with this bullet belt that he can put across his arm and shoulder, and this is just plastic as opposed to the one that comes with his large rifle here. So this is his main weapon, and you have to attach this strap, which is a little bit tricky. So there's a little clip here and there's a little clip at the end here, so just be careful you don't snap those off as you try to put the strap on. And then this metal bullet piece here just slots out. I had a bit of trouble finding out how to actually slot this in, but as you can see, these bullets are metal, and they're all sort of attached by this black flexible wire thing, which at the tip has this little hook, and when you sort of slot it in here, you sort of just wedge it in there, and then it somehow just catches on to something in there, and then it just sort of sits like that against this little flat thing here. So overall the effect isn't too bad. Would have been nice, I guess, if it would be a little bit longer, but then it might get in the way of trying to pose the damn thing. But overall it's a good effect. The rifle itself is very nicely done, if I can just pull that out again. So the detailing again is very nicely done. Not too much weathering, which would have been, I guess, a nice bit of extra detail. You get a fair few moving parts here, so there's a separate sort of handle here, and then these parts at the front sort of fold down for him to lay that on something. So overall, some pretty good detail on this big rifle. And for Luke DeVreaux, he has this smaller weapon, which I think is meant to come in two pieces, but they've already attached them. So this is the laser sight, and this is the actual weapon itself. And as you can see, the detailing and molding is just really, really nicely done. Love how they've done the weapons. And I guess with Damn Toys, they've done a lot of sort of army and those types of figures for a while now. So I think that's what they really do specialize in. So nicely done on all of those weapons. So that's pretty much the accessories. I'll get onto the figures. Alright, so here are the figures, and it's been a long time coming for me to finally get a Van Damme figure, at least in my collection. I've always loved Van Damme in his earlier set of movies. So once I saw the head sculpts of these guys, I just couldn't resist getting these into the collection. If you see the previous video, as I went through some of the articulation, I'll just quickly show you now. The arms, now they work as they should, so you can sort of raise them fairly high, but now you can just sort of bend it down, and the ratchet joints there will allow them to go all the way down to the side and look very, very natural indeed. So the underlying body itself, I think, is a very nicely built body with lots of articulation. So definitely try that fix out if you're having problems. And all the leg articulation, double jointed knees. The only thing that's really sort of a little bit restrictive is there is a fat suit or a suit underneath to sort of pad it out, and it does sort of restrict the leg articulation. So I think someone must have taken that off to do that sort of Van Damme split pose. I'm not even going to bother trying that, and I'll probably just have them pose like they have posed in the poster with their weapons and just standing at attention like this. So, but if you have a closer look at the outfit, you'll see that they've just done a sensational job with all the detailing. So this vest section here is similar to the armor piece on Andrew Scott, in that it's attached via these clips on the side here, and they're all sort of functioning clips, so you can either unclip them or undo the straps. I had a bit of a mix of both to try and take everything off. And they are a little bit tricky to get back on, but if you just persevere, you'll end up doing it okay. Now with this chest piece, as I was showing in the other video, the collar does come out and expose itself properly if you do undo it. So definitely do that fix, because I have seen a lot of photos where the collar just doesn't look right. And if you sort of undo it and get it pulled out, it looks and lays much more naturally, as you can see there. The shoulder pads are separate pieces that have the strap around the bicep and then clip into the underside of the vest there. And this undersuit is a nice sort of flexible material. I will probably try and pull these up to the elbow, which is a bit more movie accurate, I think. They always had their sort of forearms shown in the movie, but overall the detailing in the vest, the clips, the material is pretty damn good. Nothing sort of felt too fragile or anything like that, so it's pretty much just a matter of how you can be patient and try and undo everything nice and slowly. The decals that I had to put on included these 4 at the front, these 2 on the side, and the one on this side. Now there has been a lot of discussion on which is the accurate side for these, and I went through the movie, and they do actually swap in the movie, so I think these are pretty much set, so that's not a big deal. But based on the scene, he's either got this sniper symbol on this side or this side, but I went with the opening scene where you could clearly see that it was on this side, and for Andrew Scott, the sniper symbol was on his right side. So either way, it does swap out throughout the movie, so I wouldn't be too concerned depending on which way you prefer. The belt here, he's got an underlying belt here that sort of helps hold the pants up. I mean, the pants are fairly tight and they are velcroed at the front here, so it's not like they really do need the belt, but the extra detail in the belt here, and then this sort of separate harness belt. So there's 3 pieces here. There's the belt, and then there's the harness on this side and the harness on this side. So overall that detailing is pretty damn awesome, to be honest. And they all sort of connect together very, very well. So all of these have little flexible sections, straps and Velcro that sort of hold everything together, and it just looks very, very natural. Nothing's too tight or inflexible, so there's no sort of real risk of breakage and so on. The only sort of major issue is just the size of these little holsters. Luckily I've got this little tool that came with some of the other Hot Toys figures I've got. So you just sort of jam that in there and loosen the space up, and once you loosen that up, you can then get one of the little spare magazine things, and then slot it into the. So that I think is for this particular magazine, and then you can fit the silencer on this side here, and then that pistol can go in there. You can't fit the pistol in with the silencer on there. The smaller pistol goes into this slot here, and then just closes up like so. And I think the spare magazines just go into the 2 slots here. So plenty of room to play around. And then the baton, or the baton, just goes into this slot here like so. So I haven't set it all up, but I will shortly. The pants material is a beautiful sort of khaki type material that you would expect for an army outfit. So overall, it's just beautifully tailored. Another highlight is of course the boots. So you can sort of unstrap them. So they're just velcroed on by the side here, but they are full material. So they're not molded plastic. They're actually real laces tied in there, that you can see. So real laces, real buckles here. So this is like a suede material up the top here. Then there's suede at the front of the shoe and the heel all the way down there. And then there's this sort of another sort of khaki type material on the inside there. And then you have the nice detailing on the sole. So overall, I think these boots are probably better than any of the sort of boots that I've seen from the likes of Hot Toys in recent times, which mostly have been molded plastic. So the overall attention to detail and quality of these figures is right up there with the best in the 1/6 world. The head sculpts themselves, you see here, I think it's a very good likeness of Jean-Claude Van Damme. It's even got the sort of famous bump of his on the head there, and the little tuft for this movie. And you know, from all angles, I think it's a fantastic sculpt. The paint application as well is pretty good. It's definitely a step above what I've seen most from Sideshow. Probably not as good as Hot Toys just yet. There's just probably a little bit of lacking of the that realism in the skin tone with the freckling, but the overall sort of texture, the likeness and accuracy is very good. The glassiness in the eyes is there as well, so I can't complain about this too much at all. For Andrew Scott, the only real differences for him, I mean, pretty much everything is the same on the figure. In fact, I think the body is exactly the same except for the legs, that I think there might be some extensions. I didn't actually undress this guy. I actually ended up just taking the armor, chest armor off here, and then just stripping the top half of him off and not taking off the pants. But I do think that there might be some ankle extensions in there to just give him that extra height, to make the scale a bit more accurate. So overall in the outfit, I think the only difference is really just this chest armor piece, which in and of itself is pretty nicely done. And again, that's just sort of strapped on through the clips on the inside here. But everything else is the same. The detailing here, you know, both of them have these grenades on this side of the shoulder sort of harness thing here. And I guess the head sculpt again, probably not as good as the Van Damme sculpt. And people have said, you know, is he cross-eyed? But as you can see, he is definitely not cross-eyed. They've just given him that sort of. These are the figures where they look best when the head's sort of tilted down a little bit in that sort of movie poster look, where the eyes are sort of slightly pointed up in that stern stare. So I think overall, I still think it's a great Dolph Lundgren likeness and sculpt, and the paint application is pretty much on par with that of the Van Damme figure. So it's just if they had a little bit more of that sort of realistic freckling to sort of mimic that skin texture, that might just elevate it just that little bit more in the realism stakes. But overall, with the molding in the hair, the paint the paint detail, everything is pretty much in line with some of the best in the business. So I guess I would say in terms of overall quality, these would be right up there with some of the usual figures from Hot Toys, and I think they are even better than many of the things that I see from Sideshow. So if you're on the fence about these guys, I would highly recommend them. I mean, I'm always for getting a bit of variety in my collection. You know, there's a lot of Star Wars in my collection, a lot of some of the recent Marvel and DC stuff. So any chance I can get some of the 80s and 90s action movies, I would jump at it. And if it's this quality, I can't complain too much at all. Alright, before I forget, here's a quick look at what the headset looks like on. And overall, it's not too bad, but as you can see, you know, this part still sort of juts out from the head. I had to sort of futz around with that end to try and get that side straight. So it's a matter of how you can futz around with this metal bar to sort of try and straighten things out. Just be careful you don't try and snap anything off. On mine here, on both of mine, I deliberately sort of pulled this off because what I was finding was how they glued it in. It was either pointing outwards or inwards, and there was no sort of real flexibility. So you can sort of see that there's they put a little dab of glue in there, and then they just sort of stick it in the slot there. And they don't actually need the glue, because once you have it across on the head, it actually stays in place quite well, and it just gives you that extra flexibility in moving that around. So that's how I managed to get this side to straighten up. Now what I was a bit more worried about trying to bend this side, because it does look like if I do snap that off, that could be a bit problematic to glue back on. But in the end, in my display, I probably won't have them displayed with the headsets on. I do like the head sculpts, so I might just display them without their headsets on. And I guess for most of the movie, they didn't have their headsets on either. So in the end, I can't complain about the figures too much. It is a bit strange about the boxes, as I pointed out earlier, and having to stick the decals on yourself. But other than that, and fixing up the shoulder issues, the figures themselves are actually very, very high quality, and I'm definitely happy to finally have them in the collection. It took them a while to come out. I'm not sure if there were any major delays, but in the end, they turned out pretty much as I expected and hoped that they would. And I guess the next major figures that I'm hoping to get from Blitzway, at least, is their recently teased SDCC Ghostbusters line, and they do absolutely look fantastic, so can't wait to get those. But that is pretty much it for these figures. Hopefully you like that look at these Damn Toys and Blitzway Universal Soldiers. Hopefully you can click that subscribe button and stay tuned for some upcoming reviews that I've got. Things that I've got on pre-order include the next couple of Masterpiece Transformers, some more Bandai Samurai figures from their Star Wars line, and I think that's all that I can remember so far, but I've got a few 1/6 scale figures coming as well from Hot Toys through Rey and BB-8 and Finn as well, so hopefully they release in Australia soon. So hopefully you can stay tuned for that. Thanks again, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Cheers. Bye.